Hi guys, it's Miss Evink. Kindergartners, we have been learning about patterns. We learned that patterns repeat. They do the same thing over and over and over again. We know in art that patterns take up an entire space. So if I fill in a circle with a whole bunch of lines, that is a pattern. It doesn't have to be circle, square, triangle, circle, square, triangle, circle, square, triangle. It can be, but it can be circle, 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 circle. So we are going to use what we know about patterns to make some flowers. I'm really ready for spring and my flowers are popping up at my house. So I'm excited to do some flowers with you guys with patterns. So let's get to it. All right, kiddos, so like I said, we are going to be doing some flowers. So we're gonna start with a bowl upside down for our middle, and we are going to trace around it. I hold the pen, the marker up as straight as possible and go all the way around that circle. Now I am going to do U's, upside down U's, or a bumpy line, and I want to go almost out to the side of the paper, almost touching the outside, and I just keep going around and around until I get back to where I started. Now the bottom isn't going to touch the page, the bottom of the page, because it's way too far away. And I need some more stuff on the bottom of my flower. Okay. So that's how I make the top of my flower. And then we need to add a stem. A stem will be a straight line going straight down off the page because we don't want any floating flowers. Now I need some leaves, so I'm gonna do another upside down U or oval going off the page, and I'm gonna put a line going through it like a real leaf. This one, I'm gonna do another U and a line going through it. So pretty simple flower for you. And one more thing before we move on to our patterns is we need a horizon line. A horizon line is where the sky and the ground come together. So we can't see our horizon line through anything. Our flower is not see-through, so I have to stop every time I crash into a part of my flower. So my ground is going to be down here. My sky is going to be up here. Now we're going to add our patterns. We're going to use our lines and shapes that we learned at the beginning of the year. So at the beginning of the year we learned about straight lines. So I'm filling this entire thing up with straight lines. I can't put one straight line in there because that won't repeat, but I can put lots of straight lines in there to make it repeat. And again, I'm going to put circles in this one, and my circles repeat. They're not necessarily in order like a line. They fill up the whole space though. So in art, that is a pattern. We also learned about zigzag lines. Remember, those are those ouchy lines. You gotta have the ouches because otherwise it is a wavy line. And then we learned about triangles. So I'm filling this spot up with triangles, making them go off of my petal. Our next line we learned was bumpy. And you don't have to do your patterns in the same exact order that I do, but I do want you to do lines and shapes that we learned when you were in kindergarten. And then I'm gonna do squares. And wavy lines. So filling up that whole area, going from one side of the petal to the other side of the petal. Maybe some ovals, which are long, skinny circles. So those ovals are circles that have stretched. So I'm filling up this whole area with ovals. And we also learned about loop-de-loop-de-loo, loop-de-loop-de-loo. If you run out of ideas out of lines and shapes, you can always repeat things that you have already done. So now I'm gonna do I was gonna do diamonds, but they kind of look like my squares, don't they? Oh well. So to make a diamond, we do a V and an upside down V. V, upside down V. But a diamond, if we remember, is a square that's on its point. So that's why it looks like our square one. We also did dotted lines and dashed lines. So I'm gonna do dashed lines since my dotted lines would look like my circle one anyways. And then this one, I'm going to do rectangles, but I'm going to use those rectangles with my straight line. And then I'm going to do like a brick type pattern because bricks are rectangles. Okay. Then you can also do patterns in here. This one I'm gonna do like a bumpy line going all the way around. And then I'm gonna do another bumpy line all the way, whoops, little bump. Another bumpy line. Itty bitty bumpy line. It's gonna get harder and harder. Okay, close enough. So that's where I'm putting all my patterns right there in the top of the flower. If you want, you could put patterns in the stem and the leaves. So now all we have left to do is color. Okay, so I started coloring this yesterday during one of my classes, so I'm going to keep coloring. But I want to remind you that when we color around the edges and then in the middle. And when we color around the middle or in the middle, we need to color slow and in one direction. Just because the sky is a big area does not mean we get to color big. We color with our hand and our fingers. We do not color with our whole arm. Do you see my elbow moving at all, or does it stay in the same spot?